Hello, this is Witch Nikki, and in my past I have read other authors' books, and one sort of reaches out to me now. August 4th, 2021, my brother Steve died. He had written this book a few years back, so I thought that I would talk a little bit about him. 2015, Steve Tryk. Here's the picture on the back. This is the man I remember being my brother. I don't know how to explain, but if I mention just the year, 2016, it was a hard year for many people. It was election year, and there were a few candidates. My brother did not approve of me not appreciating as much as he did one candidate. I didn't even really tell him who I was voting for because I hadn't done enough. But when he mentioned this first candidate, I thought to myself, that's got to be a joke. I didn't say that to him. He has every right, had every right to follow whatever beliefs he had, just like I do. Well, that was pretty much the cause of our estrangement. And I received messages from my daughter and my niece that my brother and my other brother that Steve had died. They had told me days before he died, and the doctor had said he wasn't expected to live it past Wednesday, and that's when he did. My brother was very adventurous. He served in the military and Marines, and so my niece sent me a letter and a package, and inside are some things that she wanted to share with me. This is a bullet shell from the 21 gun salute in the military honor service on during the military honor service on Saturday, August 8th, 2021. Sorry. My brother was a big horse lover, and he won this. He also owned guns, and he entered many contests, and this was a prize he won. I'm not sure of the details, but he won this belt buckle. I remember seeing this on him many a times. This is a Wounded Warrior patch. He supported this group. This was a good thing. This, he was also sort of a coin collector. And this was actually from Infinity Coins. It's an infinity penny. It's one of them kind that you put in a machine, and for a quarter you could get it smashed. He had a lot of these, they told me. There's articles in here and some cards and stuff that I had written to him. And I know somewhere I packed some of the replies. I just went through it recently. When I was unpacking, I put it away, but very similar stuff, like all this information here. This is him playing the harmonica at the Ryman Auditorium. He played the harmonica, he played bagpipes. It says here in 2000, that's me on the stage at Grand Ole Opry while on a visitor tour of the original Ryman Center, Grand Ole Opry. I paid a man $5 per shot. He took pictures. So. I played Hank Williams' Your Cheatin' Heart. The tour guide heard me playing on the front steps, in the front of the steps. I parked my Harley out front and started jamming by myself, and this old guy came up and introduced himself and asked me if I'd like to take a tour and play on the stage. Yeah, you bet, he says. So he wasn't like in front of an audience, but he was on the stage. My brother liked to sometimes tell some far-fetched stories and make them his own. And this is a certificate of appreciation of the Lions Club. May it be known that Steve Tryk was a guest speaker at the Russett's Lions Club of Idaho Falls on 7th November 2002. As an expression of appreciation, our courtesies extend to this club by nearby present of this certificate. So he had also played the bagpipe there. You can kind of see it. It's not the best of pictures, but that's the best I could show of it. So he also went to 9/11 area here. It doesn't say Ground Zero. He went to Ground Zero. He said he wrote in his handwriting in pencil, I stood exactly here and played Amazing Grace on my bagpipes. Tears all around, especially when I played Danny Boy. Wrote a couple of poems for his daughters. And he wrote to the editor of newspapers with some political statements and ideas, and even stories from time to time. This here was, let's see, well, I know it was way back in like the 70s. Pretty sure it was 70s. June 15th, 1978. And what this is that he was shooting clay pigeons is what they're called. I have no idea, but that's what they did. And he was trying to fill the Guinness World Record for shooting them nonstop. I was there. I helped out because the gun would get too hot, so he would switch out guns, and we would take them and cool them off for him. And here's a picture. And in this picture right here, you can see my mom. I recognize her. I recognize her stance and her top that she wore all the time. And I'm pretty sure I'm somewhere in there too. I just can't see it, but yeah, don't know. I don't know. Anyways, oh, there's all the shells right here. Okay, you can see all the shells scattered right around here. So, also, I found this one very interesting. He didn't send this one to me before, but this here is 65 days on the road that Idaho's Falls man takes a trip around the country to say hello to old friends and say goodbye to others at the Vietnam Wall. So he went on his Harley from Idaho Falls to Washington, where they have the Washington D.C., where they have the memorial wall. And there's a picture of him. That's from an article in a newspaper. So he was a very adventurous guy. When I was about one of my earliest remembers about my brother was I was about 3, and him and my other brother took me to the beach. They were going to go surfing. Okay, and he used to have one of them station wagons that they called a Woody, that would have real wood on the side of the station wagon. Back in those days, they had real wood, and that's why they call them Woodies. And later on, cars came out with fake wood. Hold on a second. So, yes, he went, him and my other brother, they were both older than me. They were in their teens in high school. Before high school, probably middle school, or maybe grade school by the looks of the writing. I used to have the little handwritten note by my brothers and my sister while she was still alive, my oldest sister. Long family history story. But they took me, and I was out there toddling around. So I was just toddling around, and a wave came and devoured me and pulled me out into the depths. It went dark. That's all I remember from there. And then I remember my brother. One of my brothers was saying, "Oh, we're going to be in such trouble." And the other one was like trying to get me to cough. You know, like, come on, Nikki, come on. And trying to get me to be revived, I guess. And so here I am. My brother, Steve, saved me. My younger brother was Loftus, or we call him, his name was Butch. We called him Butch for short, or nickname, I guess. So, back here in 2015 or so, I don't know when he started writing this, but it was around 2010 that he and I started writing letters back and forth, and I was living in California and he was living over in Idaho still. And we wrote letters back and forth about my granddaughter Ginger, and he said, so does that make me a grand uncle? And so yeah, I wrote to him often about Ginger and how she was growing, and sent pictures and stuff like that. I then told him about 2014 that I had written a book and gotten it published, and that inspired him to do this. He told me one time, we was talking over the phone. Now, he had throat cancer, and he had a portion of his throat, esophagus, and tongue removed, and that caused him to have some speech issues, and also he couldn't swallow very well. So he had, for a while after his surgery, he had to, eat softer foods and stuff like that, and he had to drink water often after he spoke, because his throat would get really dry. And so I thought I would read this here because I recently reordered this one. This is a brand new copy. And the reason for that is because when we packed up things and moved here to Nevada, some of my stuff got left behind. And we'll probably go back for it. But for now, I wanted the comfort of this book, and I'm glad I got it, because I don't think the one that I had this one. He had some copies made and sent them out, and then maybe somebody helped him along the way there to get some more copies made and get them out. I saw them on sale at Target at one point, and I think Walmart, and also Amazon. That's where I got this one. So then after it came, I wrote a review, and I pictured him here, and also some of his other photos that I had. And I said, my brother wrote this book, and I'm very proud of it. And a few other things, about the book, and that I liked it. I didn't go into details describing the book, but Amazon didn't like it, and they wouldn't pass it to be a review. So I'm very upset. So Amazon, you're not going to stop me from talking about my brother's book. When you order something from Amazon, you should be able to review it as honestly and openly, transparently as possible. There was nothing wrong written in that book. In that review. Amazon just has some dumb rules that they're going to read over my review and decide if it should be published or not. I don't appreciate that, not one bit. Maybe it's, I hate to say that it's time for me to cut ties with Amazon, because I've been a customer for a long time, before they started even selling stuff. I was Amazon customer for books and stuff, and then they started really quickly going on and on and on and on, and growing and growing and growing, and now they're just like eating groceries and stuff like that. So this book is called The Last Summer of World War II by Steve Tryk, as I've showed you before. I'm going to read the introduction, because that will let you know if you want to read this or hear it on your own. Um, the last summer of World War II takes place May through August of 1945 in a small beach community of Dana Strand Village, a suburb of San Pedro, California. The story focuses around a young boy and his daily routine of protecting his small beach neighborhood. The war becomes personal after it takes away his father and causes his mother to become desolate and lose her good nature and stop smiling. With the help of Hank, a wise old veteran from the Old West, to guide him and teach him courage, and the faith of Sissy, a calf-roping country girl, who to believe in him, the kid discovers he can end the war, but to do so he will have to put his own life in peril. To him it will be worth it to see his mother smile again. But will it be enough to bring his father home? For most part, these characters and events actually did take place. Well, I wasn't born then, like I said. I was trying to tell you, on a piece of paper, him, my brother Loftus, and my sister Sandra all wrote, "Please, we would like to have a baby sister or a baby, and we'll take care of it, and we'll love it forever." And they all signed it. It was something like that, but I know it's in my things somewhere, and I just got it. I just need to recover all of my things. I need to bring here all of my things, because I feel like part of me's here, part of me's there. And if I'm going to be living here, this is where I want to be, for now. That's a long story too, so I'm not even going to go into that. There are chapters in here, and since I already talked through most of it, it's going on to 22 minutes and whatever. I'm going to just read like the first chapter-ish type thing. It says opening. During the 1940s, throughout the world, there raged a war of massive proportions. This awful tragedy affected families in most every country, continent, or island in the world, no matter how small or remote. Millions of families were torn apart because of this fighting. A global alliance of fathers, sons, daughters, and even mothers took up the gauntlet and joined together in defiance against the architects of these murderous atrocities known as the Axis Empire. The three countries that made up this Axis Empire were Germany, Italy, and Japan. Leaders of allied nations and heads of state called this awful hostility World War II. Since then, there have been many books written about that war, but there is one little known fact, though, that has yet to be uncovered, and that is, in the outskirts of a small Southern California coastal town of San Pedro, within the beach community of Dana Strand Village, lived a young boy that figured out a plan to end the hostilities for no more a reason than just to see his worried mother smile again. And how else to place the smile back on his mother's face but to bring his father home from the Pacific War? How will he finally decide to single-handedly end this conflict? Follow him through that last summer of World War II. Witness how he learns courage, honor, and bravery, and the help of an old man he considers his best friend. Endure him endure with him through the losing of his best friend and be there in his time of despair when he meets Sissy, a calf roping, spunky, no nonsense farm girl who, with her faith in him, encourages her new friend to stay his course, when then patiently waits for him as he places his own life in peril and enters his greatest battle in a meadow atop the ominous hill outside his bedroom window. With newfound courage, the frightened warrior will ascend the hill to his own private field of combat and cross the threshold of fear. I thought I was done. A threshold of fear into a battle that ultimately ends World War II. But is it enough to bring his father home? Witness what one little boy is capable of doing, then you will believe anything is possible. Under the wide and starred sky, dig the grave and let me lie. Glad that I lived and gladly die, I lay me down with a will. This be the verse you gave to me. Here he lies, where he longed to be. Home is the sailor from the sea, and the hunter from the hill. John Wayne, 1945. They were expendable. That's where that quote is from. So, sorry, I'm just getting a little bit emotional. Now, my brother was a young boy when this stuff was happening. And like I said, he liked to weave some interesting tales and stories. And he told the most rudest jokes ever. But me as a little kid from, as long as I can remember, up to whenever, he used to tell some of the raunchiest jokes ever. Even at the table for Thanksgiving, we'd be sitting around the table and he would tell he's like, I got a joke. I got a story. He would always call it a story so that we wouldn't think, oh, here comes a joke. So we don't want to hear his jokes. I got this story to tell. So he'd tell the story and it wound up being a joke, a real dirty joke, usually, because it would have all kinds of language that little kids shouldn't be hearing. But I used to laugh and giggle at it because that's what little kids do when they hear adults saying bad words. They laugh at it. And back in those days, I was like, there was a time or two I was called Goody Two Shoes because I was so goody. Well, back in those days, I went to church. So listening to these kind of stories and stuff like that just made my mind wonder, because sometimes our stepdad would be there at the table and he would just be like, and my mom would like, can you refrain from saying those kind of stories because, kids are here. But that didn't ever stop him. It never stopped him, not one bit. He was going to tell any kind of story he wanted to tell. Now, my mind can't even remember some of them, so I didn't really get that affected by it, but I know that they were bad stories. Some of them, I just want to say that they were bad. They were just real bad. Not just nasty, but they were things we shouldn't have been hearing. We just should not have been hearing. Now that was just, I guess, one, not even a chapter. That was just opening, I guess, like kind of introducing the story a little bit more. So the first chapter goes like this. I'm going to go ahead and read it. Jenny remembers. Sunday, December 7th, 1941. Radio announcers. Pillars of smoke still billow upward, blotting out the sun as fires gut the bombed out Navy airplanes hangars at Hickam Field. Shipyard fire control crews are still frantically ripping at the hull of the once splendid, now overturned battleship USS Oklahoma in what looks as though it may be a futile endeavor to rescue sailors trapped in a watery tomb. Long ago, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a young princess named Snow White. A young 19-year-old Virginia Payne. My mom was very young. He's talking about my mom in this page here. Jenny. They used to call her Jenny. A young 19-year-old Virginia Payne sat reading to her son on his first birthday, mostly to keep her mind occupied and to put the superb last year, at least for the moment, out of mind. She would be leaving Albuquerque, New Mexico tomorrow for California to be with her husband, Sergeant Loftus Payne. Loftus was 6'5", a man with broad shoulders, a firm but gentle man with hazel eyes and calm disposition, a musician turned rifleman, hired to bugle taps and reverie for the U.S. Army. Virginia once said she fell in love with Loftus the first minute she saw him unfold that tall body out of a Model A Ford. Virginia was 16 years old at the time, living in Whittier, California. They were married and had Sandy before she turned 17. Tomorrow, Virginia would be saying farewell to her close and good friend, Sarah Mae Dalton. Tonight, Virginia would reflect how exactly 1 year ago they would meet by fate. I'd like to keep on reading, and I will. These chapters seem to go pretty quickly. So, yeah, this story is, I'm not saying it's all true because I wasn't here. So, but I just know some things from what my mom told me, but maybe she was telling me things that weren't all the time true. Or just telling me stuff that I should have known as a child. So that's that for now. I hope you like this, and I hope that you'll join me next time. I'll read a few more chapters then. I spoke now and it's already 34 minutes, so I'm going to let go of this for now. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.